Hello everyone, I hope all of you are doing good, and today I am here with light, shadow and reflections of class 6th science. So I am Roshni from LearnerHub, the free learning platform where you can learn anything, anytime, from anywhere, absolutely for free at learnerhub.com. So what are we going to study in this lesson? Light. What comes to your mind when you think of light? Let's suppose that you are entering inside a dark room at night. What do you see? What's there inside the room? I actually can't see anything, right? The moment I switch on the light, what happens? I'm able to see everything that's around me, the chairs, the tables, the fans, the lights, everything, right? So, light enables us to see. So now in this lesson, not just light, we are going to talk about light, shadows and also reflection of light, which is a very, very important phenomenon of light. So are we all ready? Let's get started.
The different types of light that we see around us is, first of all, we should talk about the sunlight. So that is like the ultimate source of energy for all the living organisms that exist on this earth. So sunlight is the most common type of light. You talk about the light from a bulb, the light from the torch, the traffic lights which you see on the streets, the light which comes out of a diya or a candle, the light from a laser, which again looks quite different. Like it's like one straight single beam of light coming out of that laser light. So when you look at all these different types of light, all of them are light, but they are all different types of light. If you compare the light from a bulb with the traffic light, they are not exactly similar, they are different. Similarly, if you compare the laser light with the sunlight, they are again different. So these are all types of light which are from different sources of light, and therefore they are different from one another. But all of them are light and all of them help us in viewing things around us. However, light is not the only thing whose presence can help us to see things. So there is a package which all together help us in vision, or which gives us vision. So the first thing is light, second is eyes, and the third is brain. So our eyes are those organs of the body which technically helps us in seeing objects. So inside our eye we have the entire internal structure designed in such a way that it helps us to form images of whatever we see around us. Now you might say, okay, if light is present and if our eyes are functioning well, we should be able to see. So where is the role of the brain? Now, brain helps us to interpret what we are seeing. For example, if I am looking at a tree, how do I know that the object I am looking at is a tree? Who helps me to identify that this is a tree? So that identification, that interpretation is done by the brain. So eyes only help us to see that particular object, but we don't know what that object is, whether it is a tree or it is a house or it is an animal. So that interpretation part is done by the brain. So basically, presence of light, functioning eyes and brain, all of these together help us in our vision. So that is why a lot of people who are visually impaired, they cannot see because some part of their eyes are not functional. So this is the entire package which helps us to see. So I hope this gives us a fair idea about how important light is. Now, when we talk about the different types of light, when we talk about the different sources of light, it becomes very important to know that not all objects can produce light. So based on whether an object can produce light or not, objects are classified into two categories: luminous and illuminated objects. So basically these are the two types or two categories of objects which we see, which we are able to see. So it is something like we see the chairs, tables, bottles, pen, paper, sky, water, trees, everything around us. So we assume that we are able to see everything that exists on this earth. But actually that is not the case. We are only able to see either the luminous objects or the illuminated objects. So what are these luminous and illuminated objects? So luminous objects are those objects which produce their own light. So they have their own light. They have the ability to produce their own light. So can you think of an example of a luminous object? The first example that should strike your mind is the sun. Sun has its own light. So sun is a luminous object. So any object which is producing its own light, definitely we are able to see that object. On the other hand, a lot of objects, they are not capable of producing their own light, but we are still able to see them. So you might be thinking that when they are not able to produce their light, so if there is no light, how are we able to see them? That's the question that must be bothering you. So what happens is, these are not capable of producing light, but they are capable of reflecting light to our eyes, which are coming from the luminous objects. Now this part is very, very important. So there is a catch here. So these objects, they will not produce their own light, but the light which is coming from the luminous objects and falling on these objects, these objects will reflect that light to our eyes, and that is how we are able to see these objects. So this will become clear with this picture. So here you can see the sun. So sun is capable of producing its own light. So sun is a luminous object, right? Now, sun's light falls on various objects on the earth. For example, the sun's light will fall on this house, it will fall on the tree, it will fall on the grass. So everywhere the sun's light is falling. Now the house does not produce its own light, the tree does not produce its own light, the grass doesn't produce its own light, but all of them are capable of reflecting the light that is falling on them from the sun to our eyes. So when we look at this house, the light which is reflected from the house reaches our eyes, and that is how we are able to see this house. So that means these are illuminated objects, but they are capable of reflecting light that is coming from some other source, that is coming from a luminous object. So that is why we are able to see these objects. So such objects are known as illuminated objects. That is, they cannot produce their own light, but they are still visible because they can reflect the light which is coming from a luminous object. So they are reflecting the light which is coming from the sun. Since they are reflecting that light, reflecting the light means when light falls on them, the light rays bounce back, and they bounce back and reach our eye. And that's how we are able to see them. So basically, whatever we see around us, all those objects are either luminous in nature or illuminated in nature. Light falls on so many objects, right? I mean, there are a huge number of objects existing on this earth, and light falls on all of them. Like when the sun rises, so the sunlight falls on each and everything that is there on the earth. But we see a lot of interesting stuffs. In certain objects, when light falls, image is formed. One beautiful example is mirror. So what happens when you take a mirror in presence of light? When I say light, it could be the light from the bulb, it could be light from the tube light, it could be light from the sun. So in presence of light, if you keep a mirror in front of you, what do you see? You are able to see your image. So basically, when light falls on a mirror, image is formed, right? Now you take an example of another object like this object. It is a pin basically. So now when light falls on this object, what's happening? Shadow is formed. So you see here the black colored shadow of this object is formed. Now again, if you take the same object, the same pin inside a dark room where there is no light, there will be no shadow formed. So the shadow will be formed only in presence of light. So this is another type of object where shadow is being formed. Now if you take some other example, for example, you think of a glass window. So when you look at a glass window, what happens? You are able to see whatever is there on the other side. if you are inside the house, through the glass window you are able to see the objects which are present outside. So basically that window is like a see-through window. You are able to see whatever is there on the other side of the window. But this also you are able to see in presence of light. That means when light falls on this glass window, it enables you to see whatever is present on the other side. So you see, in presence of light, different objects behave differently. So in some objects, image is formed. In some object, you are able to see the objects which are present on the other side, whereas in case of certain objects, shadow is formed. So that is creating a lot of curiosity. That leads to a lot of questions in our minds, that what is that which is happening in a different way, because of which in different objects when light falls the behavior is different. So based on whether an object will allow light to pass through it or not, objects have been classified into 3 types. Now these 3 behaviors which we saw, in one image is formed, in another shadow is formed, and in the third one it allows you to see through that object. So it was because some objects allow light to pass through them, some objects do not allow light to pass through them, whereas some other objects partially allow light to pass through them. So based on how objects allow light to pass through them, they have been classified into 3 types: transparent, translucent and opaque objects. So these are the 3 major categories of objects. So let us learn about each of them. So we start with transparent objects. So these are those objects which allow light to pass through them. So basically when light falls on them, light is able to cross them and move ahead, as it happened here. So in this case, when light falls on this glass window panes, it actually crosses these glass and it reaches whatever is there on the other side. So here you have the mountain, the trees. So light is able to reach the mountain and the trees. Now since the light falls on the mountains and the trees, and these are all illuminated objects, so light gets reflected and we are able to see them. So basically in this case, light is completely passing through the transparent glass. So it is an example of transparent object. You think of a glass. So if you think of a glass, there also, if you see through the glass, you will be able to see whatever is there on the other side. You think of a lens or a glass like this, you will see that it helps you to see. Generally palmists use it, or astrologers use it to read the lines on your hands. So when they see through it, they are able to see your hand, right? So basically they are also transparent objects. The second type of objects are the translucent objects. So these objects, they partially allow light to pass through them. So they allow light to pass through, but not completely. They will allow some portion of light to pass and they will block some part of it. So in this case, what happens is, let's say this is a sheet of paper on which you have the painting of a bird. Right? Now, an example of a translucent object would be a butter paper or a cellophane paper. So these kind of papers, they are not completely transparent like plastic. But when you put that paper over the sheet, you are still able to see that image of the bird, but it has become hazy. It became unclear. So light is able to reach, light is able to pass through this paper, but it does not reach completely to the image. That is why you are not able to see the image clearly. Only some portion of the light is able to reach the bird. That is why you are able to see only an unclear image of the bird. You think of ice cube. So through the ice cube is not completely transparent. You clearly do not see what is there on the other side, but roughly you can see. Like let's say if there is greenery everywhere on the other side. So when you look through the ice cube, you can see that green color in hazy, but you cannot see distinctly the trees and the plants which are present there. So many such examples, a lot of glass, the frosted glass is another good example of translucent object, and it is often used in a lot of offices and those kind of places. In fact, in homes also, home interior also, these kind of glasses are used. So look at this picture. Through this glass you are able to see something green in color, something white and something green on the other side, but you are not able to see it very distinctly because the light is not allowed to pass through this glass completely and fall on those objects. Now until and unless light properly does not fall on an object, we will not be able to see it clearly. So basically frosted glass, butter paper, some of the plastics. Now not all plastics are transparent. Some plastics are transparent, but certain plastics are translucent. Ice, these are all examples of translucent objects. So here only some portion of the light, some part of the light passes through these objects. And as a result, objects on the other side appear hazy and unclear. So that's translucent object. The third type is opaque objects, and these are those objects which do not allow light to pass through them. So they completely block light. So in this case, what happens to the light which falls on the object? So think of an example, like think of a wooden board. So what happens when light falls on a wooden board? Are you able to see whatever is present exactly behind the wooden board? No, because the wooden board blocks light. It doesn't allow light to go beyond it. So that part is clear. So now the question is, what happens to the light that falls on the wooden board? So that light either bounces back or the light gets absorbed by the board. So in opaque objects, light doesn't pass through them at all. So the light either gets reflected, that is either they bounce back or they get absorbed. So they get absorbed by that particular object. So most of the metals are opaque in nature. They do not allow light to pass through them. In fact, you think of a cardboard box. So that is also an opaque object. So with these definitions of transparent, translucent and opaque objects, I would like you to look at objects around you and try to classify them as transparent, translucent or opaque. In each of these objects, why do we have these three different types of objects? That's because light, when falls on an object, interacts in different ways with different objects. So for example, in some objects, light gets reflected. When light falls on certain other objects, they get absorbed by the object. Whereas in certain objects, light gets transmitted. That is, the light passes through that object completely. So these are the only three possible interactions of light when it falls on an object. Now depending on whether the light gets transmitted or absorbed or reflected, materials are classified as transparent, translucent or opaque. So let us say this thing which you see here is an object. So whenever light falls on it, so this is an incident light. So either the light will get reflected, that is it will bounce back like this, or the light will get absorbed by the object, or the light will get transmitted, that is it will pass through the object. So in which type of object all the light gets transmitted through it? That happens in transparent objects, because transparent objects allows light to pass through them. In which type of object light doesn't get transmitted at all? So that is opaque object. In opaque object, light will either get reflected or absorbed. When you talk about a translucent object, there some part of light will get transmitted, some part of light will get absorbed and some part will get reflected. So depending on how much amount of light is reflected, how much amount is absorbed and how much is transmitted, an object is classified as a transparent, translucent or opaque object. Now, what decides what would be the interaction of light? How do we know that how is light going to behave with a particular type of object? So that completely depends upon the nature of material of the object. It also depends on the nature of medium through which the light travels, whether light is traveling through air, light is traveling through water or any other medium. So type of medium, type of material of the object decides how light will interact with a particular object. Now let's look at this screen. This screen gives you a fair idea about how different transparent, translucent and opaque object would be. So let's say if this is a butterfly, when you look at it through a transparent object like a glass, you would be clearly able to see the butterfly. So as you can see here, this portion of the butterfly is clearly visible because this part is transparent. Now let's say here you have an object which is translucent, like a frosted glass. So there also you are able to see that, okay, a butterfly exists there, but you are not able to see it very clearly. And here on the third part you have an opaque object, and therefore this part of the butterfly is not at all seen because light is completely blocked through this opaque object. So that's how transparent, translucent and opaque objects are different. So let us classify these objects which you see on the screen as transparent, translucent or opaque. So let's talk about the mirror. What do you think? Mirror is transparent, translucent or opaque? Now in mirror, are you able to see the objects which are present on the other side of the mirror? No, because mirror doesn't allow light to pass through it. So mirror is a opaque object because here light is not getting transmitted, rather than light is getting reflected. That is why you are able to see your image. So mirror is nothing but a thin, now you might say that but mirror is also made up of glass. So when you look at the window glass panes, it allows light to pass through it. Then why is the glass on the mirror not allowing light to pass through it? That's because mirror is actually a thin glass slab which is coated with silver on one side. So it is silvered on one side, because of which it just has that glass thing on one side, the other side is being silvered. So that side which has the mirror, that surface is highly polished and it is like highly shiny surface, therefore it reflects all the light. Whenever light falls on such a shiny smooth surface, it gets reflected uniformly, because of which image formation take place. Therefore mirror is an example of opaque object. You look at the bulb, so the glass which is there on the bulb, that glass is transparent, translucent or opaque. Definitely that is transparent because it allows you to see through. So you are able to see the filament inside the bulb through these glass. So that is transparent. Similarly, the glass in the spectacles, that is also transparent because it allows you to see through it. The thermometer glass is again transparent. It allows you to see the reading. You think of a shirt, what is it? It is opaque because through the shirt you are not able to see what is there on the other side. Similarly, when you think of a book, that is opaque because you are not able to see what is there on the other side of the book. What about say oil? Oil is transparent, translucent or opaque. Obviously it is not opaque, but a lot of times we have a lot of confusion whether oil is transparent or translucent. Now when I say oil, it is a very generic term because there are different types of oil. There are vegetable oils, cooking oils, hair oils, etc. So a lot of oils are transparent, whereas some oils are also translucent. Now how can we say that oil has transparency? Now, have you ever observed that a sheet of paper, a dry sheet of paper, appears to be opaque? You cannot see through that paper. But when that paper is dipped in oil, when you dip that same paper in oil, what happens? It becomes translucent or it becomes transparent to some extent. So this increased transparency of the paper is because oil has this transparent or translucent nature in it. Similarly, you would have seen that when a paper is wet, when water is poured on a paper, the paper becomes transparent. That is also because of the same logic. Because paper as such is opaque, but water is transparent. So when water is mixed with paper, the paper also gains some transparency, so it becomes kind of translucent. So basically this is how, now I hope you will be able to classify objects as transparent, translucent or opaque. Now that we got this basic idea about how light interacts with various objects, now let us see what exactly is light. So light is, as I have mentioned before, it is something that enables us to see. So it is a form of energy which enables us to see things around us. if you talk about how light travels, it always travels along a straight path. Now, many a times you might feel that, okay, is it that light travels along a straight path? Because when I keep my window panes opened, the entire room get lit up. So that means that light is able to reach every corner of the room. So how can you say that light travels along a straight path? So we will do few experiments to prove that light travels along a straight line. Speed of light is very huge. Light travels at a very high speed of around 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, which is an extremely high speed. Now, quite surprised with the fact that light travels along a straight line. So let us do this simple experiment. Take a burning candle. Okay, so light is present there because the flame of the candle that produces light. Now, if possible, darken the room so that you just have the light coming out from the candle. Now, you take a cylindrical object like this, a hollow cylinder or tube-like structure, and try to see through the tube. What do you see? You will be able to see the light coming from the candle, the light which is being produced by the flame of the candle. Now, you try the same thing in a slightly different way. Instead of the straight tube, you try to see the same thing through a bent tube. The tube, it's the same tube. If you can have a tube which is like flexible enough that you can bend it, so just bend the tube and try to see through it. Now this time you will not be able to see the light. You will not be able to see anything inside the tube. It will be completely dark. Why is that? That's because light travels along a straight path. So when you are seeing it through something which is straight, you are able to see the light. Now that you are seeing it through something which is bent, so the light doesn't seem to be seen. That's because light cannot bend. Light always travels along a straight path. So we will perform another experiment which will very clearly demonstrate that light travels along straight path. So for this you would need some playing cards. So take some playing cards, make holes at the center of each of them. And now you take a laser light. Now if you have not seen a laser light, you will get it in any stationery shop, or maybe you will find it in the lab of your school. So basically the laser light, it produces a narrow beam of light. It's like one strong intense beam of light. It's very distinctly seen as a line. So and then you put the laser light on these cards, and what do you see? You will see that this light will be clearly seen to be passing through the holes of all the cards. Now you have placed the cards in such a way that all the holes of the cards lie along a straight line. So you will be able to see this laser light coming out of the last card very clearly. Now what you do is, and you will also see the presence of the laser light on a screen on this side. Now all that you need to do is you just move one card in this way. So just displace one of the cards in such a way that this hole doesn't lie here. Now then what happens? You will see that the light doesn't bend. So if light had the option to bend, it could have bent like this, and then again it could have gone like this. But since light cannot bend, it just traveled straight. When it reached here, it couldn't find the hole. So there was nothing which could allow, and the card being an opaque object didn't allow light to move further. And that's why it was blocked, and it was not seen on the screen thereafter. So this shows that light cannot bend. So even though you had a provision for light to move through this hole, but light could not bend to pass through this hole. So this experiment very clearly tells that light can travel only along a straight path. So this is a very simple experiment which you can perform at your home, because you do not need a lot of things, just a couple of playing cards and a laser light. In fact, you can try the same thing with a torch light as well. Let us now talk about a very important phenomenon associated with light, that is reflection of light. Now, in the previous few slides, I already mentioned that whenever light falls on an object, it has three possibilities to interact. Either it gets reflected or absorbed or transmitted. So I'll give you examples of a few scenarios where we see that light gets reflected. Now think of a situation where you take a mirror in front of you in presence of light, of course, and what do you see? You can see your own image in the mirror. So is that a magic? No, that is due to this phenomenon of reflection of light. So when light falls on your face, it gets reflected, and then when the light gets reflected from the mirror and it enters your eye, that is when you are able to see your image. It's just that simple concept, because we are all illuminated objects. We do not produce our own light, but we have the ability to reflect the light that falls on our body from some other light source. So we are illuminated object, and that mirror is a surface from where the light gets reflected, and that reflected light, when reaches our eye, we are able to see the image. So not only this, when you place a flower vase in front of a mirror, what happens? You are able to see two flower vases now. So one is the real flower vase, the other one is the image which is formed on the mirror. So reflection doesn't happen only with mirrors. It can happen with other surfaces as well. But one important criteria for reflection to take place is that the surface has to be really smooth and shiny. So let's look at this example of a lake. So in this lake, you can see that this is the real hill and greenery. But on the surface of the water, an image of the hill is already formed. So that means this also acts like a mirror where reflection of light is taking place. So when light from this illuminated object falls on this water surface, it gets reflected back, and this reflected light reaches our eye, and that is how we are able to see the image. Now, if you want, you can try it out yourself, that if you take a stainless steel spoon and you just keep it in front of you, you are able to see your image on the spoon. Why is it? Because the surface again is very shiny and smooth, so reflection of light is taking place, because of which you are able to see your image. So now the question is, what exactly is reflection of light? So it is nothing but bouncing back of a ray of light when it strikes a boundary between different media through which light cannot pass. So whenever we are talking about surface, so that surface could either be the stainless steel spoon, or it could be the mirror, or it could be the surface of the lake. So wherever you see you are talking about a surface, that surface is nothing but the boundary between two different media. Let's say you talk about the surface of the lake. So that surface is the boundary between air and water, because below that surface is water, above that surface is air. Similarly, when you are talking about the mirror, so the surface which you are talking about, that is this surface, is actually a boundary between glass and air, because beyond this is glass and on this side is air. So that way, every surface which we are talking about, that is actually a boundary between two different media, and it has to be such a boundary through which light cannot pass. So what are those objects which do not allow light to pass? Opaque objects. And that is why I told you that mirror is opaque, because it doesn't allow light to get transmitted. So what is going to happen to the light? The light will bounce back. So whenever, let's talk about this flower vase. Now this is an illuminated object. So when light from some other source, maybe from sun or from a tube light or a bulb, falls on this object will send the light on the mirror. So when the light from this object falls on the mirror, what happens? The light gets reflected back. So when the light gets reflected back, these reflected light reaches our eye, and that is why we are able to see this image which is being formed on the mirror. So this bouncing back of light is known as reflection of light. Now you can try out some very interesting things yourself. For example, you take a spoon which is very easily available at your home. Now just try to look at your image with the back side of the spoon. Right? So because the spoon has a curved surface like this, right? So this is like the outer surface, and this is the inner surface. So try to observe your own images from both the outer surface and the inner surface, and you will see that on the outer surface you will always see an erect image, but on the inner surface, when you take it far away, you will see an inverted image of your face. But when you bring it very close to you, you will be able to see an erect image. So basically you can just try this interesting things, and you will see that as you change the distance of the spoon from yourself, the type of image that you are able to see there also changes. Now, why this happens is the concept of spherical mirrors, which we will learn in our higher classes. So, but these are some interesting stuffs which you can try around yourself. You can try try to see if images are formed on shiny surfaces. Just try to take a piece of wood in front of you in presence of light, but you will not see any image. That's because that the surface is not shiny enough for reflection of light to take place. Similarly, you can try to take an object like maybe something like a marble flooring or granite flooring, which is very shiny. You will roughly be able to see an image being formed over there. So that's how you can try out the concept with objects around you. Now the question is, this is the concept based on which we are able to see the things around us. So whenever the light reflected from an object reaches our eye, we are able to see that object. So when light falls on the mirror from that object, that is our face, and the reflected light reaches our eye, we are able to see the image on the mirror. When there is no light, we do not see any image. So presence of light is a must to see, for reflection to take place, and that is why for us to see objects. Now when this girl is looking at this picture, she is able to see this picture because the light falling on this picture, when it gets reflected, so that reflected light is able to reach her eyes, and that is why she is able to see the picture. So you can actually get a hell lot of examples of reflection in nature. So mostly in the areas surrounding lakes, you can very well see reflection taking place. So basically it is not only mirror where reflection takes place, but a lot of other surfaces which are opaque at the same time, which are shiny and smooth enough for reflection to take place.
So my dear children, how did you like the video? If you have an experience to share with me, do let me know in the comment section. And if you really like the video, do not forget to share it with your friends too, so that they can also enjoy this video. I will meet you all very soon with a new video, with a new topic. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.